Hi, Janine Stevens, head coach of the Manitoba Rowing Association. Something I was asked to do to put together some basic stretches that would be good for rowers. So I'll start off with some of the main ones. So stretching our quads and hamstrings are really helpful because it's the big muscles that we use. So the easiest ones are when you're standing, find a place to balance yourself and put one foot with your laces in the palm of your hand and pick it up. And then what you want to do is kind of pull back. What you want to make sure is that your hip stays in line with your knee. So you're not going out to the side in either direction. And from this angle, you're kind of just going straight up. So what I like to do, because hip flexors is also one we will do, but even from here you can see sort of the bend in my hip. So what I try and do from here to get a little bit of a deeper stretch is also just try and tilt my pelvis forward so it stretches my quad a little bit more. So what you can do is kind of start to push your foot down into your hand and push your pelvis forward, which will give you a bit of a deeper stretch in there. So we do our quads both sides. So if you need a wall or a post, you can always also do this one laying on the ground. So again, making sure that my knee stays in line with my hip, not going out to the side. You want to make sure that it's staying straight down, pushing my the top of my laces into my palm and also bringing my hip flexor forward. This one feels actually tighter than my last. Whew, lost my balance. Again, make sure you have your balance. So I can feel it in my hip flexor a little bit more on this one. So I don't have to push my laces into my hand as much to feel that stretch. So that's a good place to start. Another one is into your hamstrings. So you can do it laying on the floor and do a hamstring stretch by pulling your knee. But this is also an easy one. Something you want to make sure you're doing is keeping your legs straight. And then here's a good practice with that pelvis rotation. So rocking from the hips. I can do this, keep your toes up. I can do this and touch my toes really easily by rounding my back. But as soon as I flatten my back and make sure that I'm rotating from my pelvis, I have a much tighter pull in my hamstring. So that's another one that we want to make sure we're doing. Getting those hamstrings, but doing it with that flat back. So seeing if you can get to your toes there. Again, making sure you're getting in both sides. Holding it for a little bit longer than I'm doing it for the video because I'm just showing. So again, my other leg was tighter than this one. So making sure you're rotating through the pelvis to do it. Again, you can do this sitting on the ground, and I will show you that as well. Another big one is our hip flexors. So kneeling on one knee, I'll do it from the side first. Really making sure you're tucking that tailbone under. So from here, you want to tuck your tailbone under to really get into that hip flexor. I can feel it already in this position. So a lot of people do this and lean forward. It doesn't do anything. Making sure you're getting that tuck under and then leaning forward. So that will bring it into the hip flexor much more. Try and stay relaxed through your glutes. And then if you need a bit more, you can lift up one hand. The same knee as is back. And if you need a bit more, you can rotate away from it, and that brings it right in a little bit more. So your hip flexors connect to your hip all the way up into the back of to your spine through your stomach. So they're all in there. And so getting a good stretch. I don't know what the suggested time is, if it's hold it for 10 seconds and release. Or do it 3 times with holding it for 10 seconds. Same thing, getting that pelvis tucked under to get that pull in the front of the hip flexor. If you need another level, put your hand up. If you need it even further, rotate away. I can feel it in my side here, but it should feel it a little more in that hip flexor down here. I can feel it right into my side. So there's another good one. Another thing that happens with rowers is we get really internally rotated because of the handles. So we want to make sure we're opening our shoulders. So a few different options for that. A foam roller is a great option. So you can lay on the ground with it, sort of with your tailbone on it and the top of your head on it, and then lay with your arms out to the side, or here is fine. Let gravity pull your shoulders back, and then moving your hands up and down. And sort of stay like that for a few minutes. So I'll just take the camera with me here a little bit to show you that one. Ooh, that was a little bit too much, I think. Okay. So here, really, again, making sure that your head and tailbone is on the foam roller. I like to get set up just by letting my shoulders come down. So come down to here, so gravity sort of does its work, pulling them open, and then you can move your hands up and down. So something to watch, which I just had to catch myself on, is arching my back from my rib cage. So right now I've lost pressure through my rib cage back here as my hands are going up because they are really tight. So you have to make sure that you're working to keep your spine. So you'll have to bring in your core muscles to keep your spine down while your hands are going up. So you want to make sure that there's not any arching in your back. So keeping your spine flat against the roller as you're doing this. So you can move them up and down. You can just lay here and count to 10. I could probably lay here all night. It'd probably be good for me. Just to continue opening things up so you don't get that external rotation. So those are a few good ones. Another option for that one is a door frame, right? You stand in the door frame and hold your shoulder back. Again, just make sure that you're not just rotating your body, but that you're actually just getting the shoulder rotated back. So that's another really good one. We move a lot in rowing in just the front and back plane. So doing things that move us to the side. So lots of times we do jumping jacks and other exercises that actually are quite helpful in moving in the opposite planes that rowing moves. So that's always a good thought for things as well. But those are some of the major ones that I can think of. Oh, the other one would be the glute stretch actually would be another really good one. So lots of people do that with the figure 4. So crossing your knee over the other and then lifting it up. So you can also do this on your back. So, and then you can pull your knee, you can reach through and pull your knee in as much as your glute allows it to go. That's actually another good one and another important one. You can press out on your knee and pull in under your other one to just get a little bit deeper. Same thing on the other side, pressing out, pulling in. Glutes, hip flexors, shoulders, all really good ones to stretch. I'm just going to show you one more, and that's into the lats actually was one that we used to do a lot of. So again, with a foam roller, you probably don't need it. But from here, you're going to put your forearms on the roller. So on your knees, forearms on the roller, you're actually going to think about rolling your spine over, and you're going to roll the foam roller away, rounded through the back, and breathe into that a few times. So really expanding your rib cage through the back on this one so it does get those lats. That's another spot that gets pretty tight. So inhale, really feel it through that back. Because you are rounded over, it should make it just a little bit deeper. So lats, shoulders, glutes, hip flexors, quads, hamstrings. Super important to stretch, so give those a try. Again, please give me feedback if there's things to do better or differently, or you are looking for more information. Let me know and we can make some videos about it. We can all learn together. Thanks so much. Have a great night.